It's happening. Humanity's giant leap back to the moon just took a very, very slow step forward. NASA's enormous Artemis II rocket is officially on the move, rolling out to its launch pad. And believe me, this journey, it's a huge moment in our return to deep space.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the rocket's epic crawl to the pad, and we'll get into why this mission is such a massive deal. Then we'll meet the crew, get under the hood of this incredible machine, look at the final hurdles before launch, and talk about what it all means for the future of us in space.
Okay, first up, the main event, the thing that has everyone watching. It's the almost surreal sight of this colossal rocket making its slow, majestic journey out into the open. To really wrap your head around the scale here, just try to picture this. You've got a structure taller than a 30-story building, and it's just inching its way across the landscape. The whole 4-mile trip happened at less than 1 mile per hour. I mean, you could easily outwalk this thing. And get this, it took about 12 hours. A 12-hour journey to go 4 miles. That's how long the specialized crawler transporter needed to carefully haul the immense weight of the rocket and its launch platform from the assembly building all the way out to Pad 39B. Yeah, this was an all-day affair, a true marathon of engineering. It started moving at 7:04 in the morning, and it wasn't until almost 7 o'clock that evening that it finally reached its destination. An entire workday just to move 4 miles. Incredible. And you can see why it had to be so slow. I mean, look at these numbers. We're talking about moving an 11 million pound, 322-foot-tall skyscraper. That slow and steady pace isn't just for show. It is absolutely essential to keep this whole thing stable. And the crawler doing the moving? It's a marvel of engineering in itself. A veteran that actually dates all the way back to the Apollo days. But, you know, this rollout is so much more than just moving a rocket from point A to point B. It's a symbol. It represents a truly historic return to exploring the moon. It is honestly hard to believe, but the last time human beings flew toward the moon was way, way back in December of 1972 with Apollo 17. Artemis II will be the first mission in over half a century to carry astronauts back out there, reigniting a legacy we thought was long past. And Artemis II, it's a key piece of a much, much larger puzzle. See, the Artemis program isn't just about planting a flag and coming home this time. The real goal is to build a sustained presence on and around the moon, to learn how to live and work there. Why? To use it as a crucial proving ground for the next giant leap, sending the first astronauts to Mars. So how does this mission fit in? Well, you can think of Artemis II as the essential dress rehearsal. It's a 10-day flight that's all about pushing the Orion spacecraft and its life support systems to the limit, but with a crew on board. It has to work perfectly because it paves the way for the main event, Artemis III, and that's the one that will finally land humans back on the lunar surface. Of course, at the absolute heart of all this incredible technology, there's the human element. So let's meet the 4-person international crew who are about to become the first people to make this journey in a generation. And here they are, NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook. And they're joined by Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. These are the 4 people who will be strapped into that Orion capsule, ready to write the next chapter of human exploration. And these words from mission specialist Christina Cook, they just capture the mindset perfectly. After years and years of preparation, she says the crew is just ready. It's not about being nervous. It's about pure focus. It's about readiness to execute a mission they have literally trained their entire careers for. So, what is this incredible machine they'll be flying? Let's pop the hood and break down the key pieces of tech that make this whole journey possible. It's really like a symphony of 3 core components working together. First, you've got the massive Space Launch System rocket, the SLS. That's the muscle. It provides the raw, brute force to escape Earth's gravity. Then, sitting right at the top, is the Orion spacecraft. That's the crew's home for the trip. And attached right behind Orion is the European Service Module, which is its lifeblood, providing all the power and life support. And you really can't overstate how important this service module is. It's a critical piece of international collaboration built by the European Space Agency. It provides the engines to maneuver in space, it generates all the electricity with its solar arrays, and it supplies the very air the astronauts breathe and the water they drink. As one engineer put it pretty bluntly, we basically can't get to the moon without it. So, now that the rocket is sitting on the launch pad, the teams on the ground are kicking into high gear. The final and arguably most critical tests are about to begin. They have to nail these before they can even think about a launch day. And the biggest exam left on the list is something called the wet dress rehearsal. This is a full-blown simulation where they don't just pretend, they actually load the rocket with hundreds of thousands of gallons of super cold liquid fuel. They run through the entire countdown right down to the final seconds. It is the last, best chance to catch any problems before it's for real, and it's scheduled for no later than February 2nd. And throughout this entire process, NASA officials have been crystal clear on one thing. As the Artemis Mission Management Chair, John Honeycutt, said, crew safety is the absolute #1 priority. They are not going to rush this. They will fly when and only when they are 100% ready.
So this really sets up the million-dollar question, doesn't it? The question the entire space community is watching. The first launch opportunity opens on February 6th, just a few days after that critical test. So can they successfully pull off these incredibly complex checks and be ready to fly in that very tight window?
Finally, let's just zoom out for a second and look at where this one single mission, Artemis II, fits into the grand vision for our future out there in space. See, this mission isn't just about going back to the moon, it's about learning how to stay. The whole point of Artemis is to establish a long-term, sustainable human presence using our closest neighbor as a training ground, a launch pad for the next great destination in our solar system, Mars. And so, as this incredible rocket stands there on the pad, it really represents the dawn of a new era. After more than half a century, we are finally going back. And it leaves all of us with one profound thought. What new knowledge, what new inspiration, what new discoveries are waiting for us on this return journey to the moon?